is going to be about the volume of pyramids and cones. Same formula for both. My volume is going to be 1/3 times the area of my base times the height. Something to note here. This H, when we were talking about height with surface area, it was the slant height. Well, for the volume, you're actually going to use the perpendicular height, not your slant height. So something to remember. Because we also have a fraction of 1/3, your answer, leave it as an improper fraction. So for instance, if I were to have 12/3, I would reduce that down to 4. But if I had 10/3, I'd leave it. I don't want a decimal, okay? So to begin with, let's look at a couple examples with our pyramid. First thing to notice in this example, I'm given my slant height, and I don't want my slant height for my volume. I want the perpendicular height. So in order to find that, I'm gonna have to use Pythagorean theorem in order to figure it out. So looking at Pythagorean theorem, I know that this bottom part of the base of the triangle is 3. My hypotenuse is 5. I can use Pythagorean's theorem to solve for my height. Some of you probably already know this. This is a Pythagorean triple. My height is 4. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead now and calculate my volume. It's like 1/3 times the area of my base. I have a square, so I'm going to take length times width, which we just know is 6 times 6, and my perpendicular height is 4. I go ahead and plug this straight into my calculator, and I will get 48 inches cubed. Okay. This time it actually happened to work out because we had a 6 here that our fraction of 6/3 reduced down to just 2. So let's look at another one. This time you guys will be going through it and answering it. Just in case you can't see that, my perpendicular height is 12 feet. And my base is, my pyramid is 10 feet wide. So go ahead and calculate out your volume. Make sure you have the correct units. All right, looking at this, same process. So I have 1/3 times, how do I find the area of my base? 10 times 10. My height is already given to me as 12. I plug that straight into my calculator, and I get 400 feet cubed. Again, we're talking about volume, so our units have to be cubed. Moving on, let's look at a cone. A cone is still the same. It's just tricky to remember what the area formula is for a circle sometimes. It's like a party hat, and I want to figure out how much could fit into my party hat. Or if you're thinking about like if you go to like a water cooler and they have those cone cups, how much water can I fit into one cup? So for this one, let's say that my height here is 19 inches and I have a diameter of 16 inches. Same process. Volume equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. I go ahead and plug that in. The area of a circle we know is pi r squared. Well, my radius is 8 squared, and now times my height of 19. So this is a case where I'm gonna leave the fraction how it is. In order to do that, I'm gonna multiply all the top numbers or all the numerators of my fractions, because technically 19 is over 1, right? And 8 squared is 64 over 1. That's still a fraction. So I'm going to multiply that, and I get 1,216 all over 3. But I can't forget I'm leaving this in terms of pi. And my label is inches cubed. Okay? Do not give me a decimal. I do not want a decimal. So you guys have one problem to work out. Let's see how you do. Good luck. Again, same formula. 1/3, the area of my base times my height. My radius is 7, so I have pi 7 squared. My height, notice right now actually I have a slant height. I need to find my perpendicular height. So I'm going to use, guess what? The Pythagorean theorem. So I have 7 squared plus h squared equals 25 squared. When I go through this whole process, I find out that h equals 24. So now I can take that, plug it over here to my regular height. Well, I can see, I can just plug in 1/3 times 49 times 24, and I get a final answer of 392 pi centimeters cubed.